our very beloved ladies to clap for these members of parliament. And why am I telling you to clap for them? These are the people who passed a law on anti-homosexuality. That a woman must get married to a man, not a man to a man, not a woman to a man. These are the people who took the courage. Though I carried the cross, I single-handedly carried the cross by being sanctioned, by being what I carried, and I'm ready to carry. For the good of the women of Uganda, for the good of the generation of Uganda, and for the good of this country. We must be patriots in this country. I want to welcome all of you to this historic second Women's Parliament sitting at Parliament of Uganda, where you're seated here today, a people-centered parliament. You are most welcome, our dear guests. You're most welcome. You may recall that the inaugural Women Parliament was held a decade ago in 2015 under the theme Women, Participation and Empowerment. This year's Parliament comes about 30 years after the Beijing Declaration and a platform for action, and 20 years after the Mobutu Protocol, also referred as the Protocol for African Charter on Human and People Rights. On the rights of women in Africa, both landmark multilateral undertaking sought to the flight of women, to prevent and eliminate all forms of violence against women and girls out there. As you come here, you will find one of the women was battered. Where are you going? So what we are going to discuss here is on the issue of domestic violence. How do we try our best to eliminate domestic violence? How can we be heard? How can we have a voice? As we gather here today, we owe it to the millions of women and girls out there to not only demonstrate, but actually commit to improve their welfare, living conditions, and realizations of their aspirations. I had members of parliament saying, some of you are going to be in this house tomorrow, and indeed, strive to be in that house. I have always told people that I have one term to serve. Some of you should come and become speakers. I am serving up to 2031. 2031, I go back to the village and look after the Balongo. So strive very hard to come to the house and be the speaker, and you lead by example. Beyond the laws and the policies and procedures that we seek to escalate affirmative action as stipulated in Article 32 and Article 33 of the Constitution of Republic of Uganda, 1995, we the women in leadership must strive to improve on the competitiveness of women and the girl child in all aspects of life. We must always advocate for women. And I want to thank the Women Council. You've done a good job. I want to thank the women members of parliament. The women members of parliament have always spoken about the women, the girl child outside there. I am the only one who speaks about the boy child. Because you cannot have a boy child who is spoiled coming to take your good girl child. So all of them must be treated, but most importantly, we must try to make sure that the girl child is protected from this business of rape, dropouts from school, early marriages, the cultural aspects, not the issues of circumcision in where? In Sebe. We must protect our girl children. I am a mother of boys, but I love girls so much. So much. Of the theme of this year's Women's Parliament, consolidating women's socio-economic transformation in Uganda. How do we consolidate? As women of Uganda, you and me are the leaders of Uganda. And being the leaders of Uganda, what are we telling the girl child outside there? What are we telling the women outside there? What should they do for them to get transformed into socio-economic transformation? This sitting and its attendant activities is a commemoration of the gains made by women's movement over the years, and the point of reflection of the numerous milestones that we aspire to achieve in the future. As you go for the sitting today, after here, I hope you've been informed that you will have to elect a speaker, and then we go into the session where we have motions that we will debate, we will discuss those motions, and those motions should be able to help us in making policies for this country, in helping a local woman down there in the village. One time I was invited for a women workshop in Russia, Euro women. When I went for the women workshop, and what these people were discussing was that average woman like myself. I put up my hand and said, what are we discussing about? I thought we would be discussing about a local woman deep coming from Bukedea there. That is what we should be looking at. That how do we look at the women down there? What can we do to improve on the welfare of the women down there? Being in leadership, you have to be a servant leader. You have to lead for others. You need to sacrifice. We recognize all your aspirations for equity and inclusivity still faces numerous challenges, notably the gender-based violence, including the technology-facilitated violence, discrimination, negative cultural practices, the stereotype, among others. The resolution of these challenges requires unity amongst the women, focus, the hard work, coordination, and courage, especially amongst us, the women leaders. Once we are not united, we can never achieve what we want. Once we are not focused, we will never achieve what we want. Once we are not coordinated, the coordination is what has brought all of you here. You're more than 400 ladies here. It is out of that coordination that you've all come here, and we are going to discuss matters regarding a woman. And this woman is either your sister, your daughter, your mother, anybody. but a woman remains a woman. Ladies, above all, we need to strengthen the socialization at family level and sensitization, especially men, on the need of gender inclusivity in the aspect of life. These men need to know that the inclusivity is very, very important. We should acknowledge and pay tribute to the remarkable efforts of the government of Uganda, led by His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, in improving the plight of women. The president loves women. What hasn't he done for the women? The government of Uganda has instituted various interventions on economic empowerment of the youth, women, men, notably the joint program on the youth livelihood program, the Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program, UEP, the Parish Development Model, the Special Disability Grant for persons with a disability, the Special Enterprise Grant for older persons, the Social Assisted Grant for Empowerment, that is SAGE, the Presidential Banana Initiative, Generating Growth Opportunities and Productivity of Women Enterprise, that is the GROW Project, the Uganda Skills Development Project, the Youth Venture Capital Fund, EMIOGA, and etc. The government has also ensured an enabling legal regime for equity and inclusivity, notably amendment of the Succession Act. In the Succession Act, not every woman is married. You'll find in one way or the other, you find yourself with some man somewhere. You end up having a kid, and because there is somebody somewhere married with a ring, he says your kid should not benefit. The Succession Act says no. A kid to that man belongs to a kid to that man, and he must benefit. And because of that, the women are not really suffering a lot because of that act. And what I want to request, Honorable Mutuso, Gender, make sure that that act, people get to know what is in the act, because the majority of the people don't know. So we need to create awareness of the act. There may be some challenges in the implementation, but the intention of the act is very good. We can always work together to eliminate any existing barriers to accessibility and utilization of the prevailing intervention. I am impressed by its coverage of various emerging issues, including the climate change and its effect on gender relations. I urge you to exhaustively deliberate upon the motions, because the resultant resolutions will form the various decisions, laws, and policies in both short, medium, and long term. Therefore, we need your voice to be heard in this House. Your voice can only be heard from what you resolve today, and that will be presented to the relevant ministries for an action to be taken. And I'm happy that the Minister of Gender is here. The Minister of Gender should be able to tell you about most of these programs that are available, like the GROW program, like UEP. All those programs are under the Ministry of Gender. One thing that we want to inform you, the ladies, as Parliament of Uganda, we have 4 roles. One is legislation. We come and legislate for you, just like you do in the local council. The representation role, we do represent our constituencies, and then we do oversight. We do the oversight role that we give money to gender. Is this money working out well? We gave out money to agriculture. Is it working out well? And then we do appropriation. In the appropriation, that's our main goal. That is our main activity. We do appropriate money to ministries, MDAs, and all local governments. It is upon the leadership of that local government to ensure that that money is used in a proper way. Me, as the person who did appropriation, I will only come and do post-mortem by doing an oversight role. So as leaders down there, you must hold these people accountable for the money that we send to you. In a special way, I would like to thank our development partners, especially the Westminster Foundation for Democracy and all the stakeholders who have been able to make sure that this sitting takes place. May we continue to work together for greater milestone. And once again, I want to welcome you to Parliament of Uganda. And as we go for the deliberations, we should be mindful, one, of time, two, of the output that you're going to come up with, the resolutions, because at the end of the day, I will, together with the clerk, hand over the resolutions to the relevant ministers for action to be taken. And we'll call the leadership of districts to come and witness the handover of these resolutions. We will hand over to the ministries and hand over to the president. And it is out of these resolutions that will even form your speech on the Women's Day. What do you want as women of Uganda? Do you still want to remain what you are? Do you want to be better than what you are? And if you want to be better than what you are, the only solution is President Museveni. A person who has love for the women of Uganda. You will find the vice president is a woman, prime minister is a woman, a speaker is a woman, everybody is a woman. Let's clap for President Museveni. And how I wish in this collaboration we should always have this kind of engagement. Clerk, I want to thank you so much for being a very good clerk. And is there a feedback? Communication is only complete once you get a feedback. So we need to have a feedback on what people from Teso who have never crossed the River Nile. There are people from West Nile who just hear about Western Uganda. So let's visit regions. You know, Parliament is where a speaker declares to be Parliament. We can go and sit on Kampala Road and declare this is the Parliament, and it shall be Parliament. So we can decide to go and sit in a region and declare that region to be a Parliament of Uganda, like we went and had a regional meeting in Gulu. We should go and have another one in another region and discuss issues regarding a girl child and a woman. A woman without a woman, a nation is nothing. a nation is nothing. You need women. That woman there is a mother to a person leading this country. That woman there is a wife to the person leading this country. Is a daughter to the person leading a country. So the woman that we are talking about is a very important creature in every society. And that's why they say once you have educated woman, you have an educated nation. And as Anita, as a speaker that you gave leadership, first of all, I want to thank you for giving me to be a Speaker of Parliament. Because I became a member, a Speaker of Parliament through the members that you voted in. These very good members here are the ones who voted for me here to be a Speaker. And I have not, I pray that I have not disappointed you. And I am still ready to serve for one more term. I am still ready and I am still available. After I have finished the one term, then I can hand over to my young brother, Titi, that you also take over. I can hand over to Titi. Members, beautiful ladies, there is always an end to everything. We've spoken. I don't want you to get bored. Because if I am to speak, I can speak. But I want to give you time to choose a speaker of the day. I will also be watching and listening. I have handed over the Parliament today to you. I will also be seated and watching and seeing what is happening, and I will be ready to hand over the powers temporarily today. Temporarily, I will give over my gown and everything to the acting speaker today, deliberate, give me the resolutions, and we implement. Honorable members who are here, this meeting is a very, very special meeting. And after this meeting, whatever resolution that is going to come out here should be brought to the floor in the next sitting. I can see Honorable Ethel there, Honorable Ethel of Wakiso. She's a shadow minister of local government. I see Honorable Emigu, Honorable